Luna, come. Good. Down. Free. Good girl. All right, so Luna is pottying right now. Happy-go-lucky dog. Luna, I don't know if you can see her in the shot now, but she had a problem with her ducks when she first met them. Actually, the first time she met them, she was a little bit unsure about them. The next day she saw them, she like charged right at them. So just give her a correction, one quick correction, swift, nice and quick to the point. And that was the end of it. After that, no issues with the ducks. She can walk right past them, no problem. And this is not a thing anymore. Sometimes what people don't realize is these big problems that become big, right? They sometimes start as a result of a behavior that did not get checked. So if one behavior did not get checked, it could escalate. It could become more intense. Because now the dog can start building reward history. So for instance, if the second day she met my ducks, she decided, you know what, I'm gonna charge at them every single time I see them. If that's what she decided to do, well then what would happen is with each time she charged at the ducks, she would get more emboldened, she would get more intense, and then it will become a habit. And the moment it becomes a habit, now we will call it, this is a big problem. So a lot of these things are like one little behavior that is not little, but it's little for them. One little behavior that just does not get addressed, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And so the question that may be coming up is, how did you correct her? Now you're seeing a remote collar in my hands. I didn't even use a remote collar. I had her on leash. She charged at the ducks. And just with the leash, whatever I had in my hand, I just popped her with the leash. I gave her a firm no. She looked at me like, I'm so sorry, I was not supposed to do that. I didn't know. And after that, it was over and done with. There was nothing harsh about it. Now that worked for her. With some other dogs that are more intense, maybe we would need to use maybe a different type of correction, maybe an electronic collar correction. It doesn't matter. The point is, it got addressed. And that was the only time that she did it. Didn't do it after that because the consequence was strong enough, emphatic enough for her to go, it's just not even worth it. So now I got Vlad. Now here's the thing with Vlad. His e-collar is dead right now, completely dead. So I don't have his e-collar, completely naked. Again, I got two ducks over here. These ducks just love spending time out here with the dogs. And no problem. Like, there's no problem at all. So no e-collar, no problem. This is where people sometimes misinterpret what the training tools do. A training tool is not the gap between ownership and relationship. All a training tool is just that. It's just a tool that allows for communication to get a little bit smoother. But it doesn't, not having the tool doesn't mean we're gonna have problems. Yes, there are gonna be occasional periods here and there where if I don't have the tool, I'm gonna have to repeat myself. I'm gonna have to maybe raise my voice occasionally because dogs are dogs. They're going to do dog things and they're not always going to listen. I don't care how well trained they are. That's all a tool does. It just facilitates this smooth communication, but it is not the relationship. If the only thing that keeps our relationship good is a tool, then I don't have a relationship, right? So that's where the tool sometimes gets misinterpreted. People don't understand what it is. Vlad, come here. So no tool, right? I didn't yell, I just called him over and he's all happy to see me. I know, buddy, I know. Good boy, good boy. Good. Vlad, right? Good. Good. Foos. Good. So. All done. Free. Go potty. Go break. So, just a real quick example. Obviously, there's not a whole lot going on here other than potty area, lots of smells, a couple of ducks that are irrelevant to them. But essentially, you saw what he would do if he had the e-collar on, because that's how little of a difference it has on our relationship. All it is just a tool, guys. Like, I'm wearing shoes right now, but I could be barefoot, be fine. I'd be walking around. The shoes don't enable me to walk. I can walk without shoes. Right? I could wear flip-flops, I could wear Crocs, I could be barefoot. Now, walking barefoot sometimes is gonna be a little bit uncomfortable. For some people, it's more comfortable. But at the end of the day, the shoes don't enable me to walk. It's just a tool, just like the e-collar, the prong collar, whatever it is that you use, they're just tools. They don't replace relationship. Now I got Cinco out. Cinco and Vlad are related. They're half brothers. They have the same dad. Very similar traits, but very different in many aspects. Now with Cinco, good job, buddy. Cinco spent about a month with one of my friends where he had unlimited access. No! Where he had unlimited access to an outdoor area. He got to sniff to his heart's content. And this created a little bit of a gap in our relationship, created a bit of a gap in our training. There's some circumstances that dictated this to happen at that time. It was a situation with a lot of moving parts. Long story short, he went to my friend when he was about 6 months of age, maybe 5 months of age. I had him since he was about 7, 8 weeks of age. We trained every single day. We were doing amazing. Right about 5, 6 months of age, he spent time with my friend, about a month, unlimited outdoor sniffing, no structure. And I'm not saying this to point fingers at the situation or my friend at all. By no means am I doing that. But that gap at that age, in that period of time that he had unlimited access to basically be a dog, created this big interruption. Now, if I had him when he was about, until he was about 3, and then he had a month off, probably wouldn't have made that big of a difference. But because that month happened at a very young age, it definitely changed something about his the way he sees the world. He realized that sniffing and just being outside was so rewarding, and almost like he became infatuated by by all the smells and just the different things. Just became this happy butterfly. And so we had to kind of rebuild this interest for what I had, right? I had to basically convince him again that, look, being with me, hanging out with me, and doing all these things for food and for toys is a lot of fun. Cinco, right. Good. And as of right now, you notice he doesn't have an e-collar. Also, same thing as Vlad. But he's not as affectionate as Vlad. Like, Vlad was happy to be here with me. Vlad wanted to be all over me. Whereas Cinco is more like, good job, buddy. He's more like, all right, I came to you, now what? Can I go do something else now? So his obedience is mostly like, all right, I'll do this, but my mind is really somewhere out there. This is a difference in temperament, but also in that period of time, it's about 30 days, at a very crucial stage in his development, created this interruption in a relationship. Cinco, right. Good. Good job, buddy. Good job. There it is. There's a little bit of affection right there. Very nice. He's a little bit more independent, a little bit more bold. Good job, buddy. Easy, 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 easy. Come here. Easy, easy, easy. Good job. Right. So I'm calling him back because I'm basically telling him, right, we're not done, right? I didn't say the magic F-R-E-E word. And here we have Samara. Now, Samara is my wife's dog, even though she lives in our household. So technically she's our dog. But Samara originally was a client dog. She was brought here to us for a little bit of training when she was about 7 weeks of age. Then I continued with the training with the owner at the time. And then there were some circumstances that essentially made it difficult for the original owner to keep her. So when she was about maybe 3 months of age is when the circumstances dictated that, you know, that this working dog cannot be with the owner. So we talked about it, and we determined that the best course of action was for Samara to stay with us. Now, why she's my wife's dog, it's a bit of a long story here. So when Samara first came to us for training as a puppy, just before she came to us for training, my wife's previous dog, her name was Grim, Dutch Shepherd, she had just passed away as a result of a surgery. And I have details on how that happened and why that happened on a different video. But her dog passed away. My wife was just broken, right? Heartbroken. She had that dog since it was a puppy. She did all the training, like everything. My wife did all the training. And then when that dog was maybe about 3 years old, maybe a little bit younger than that, it's been such a long time, she passed away due to a spay surgery. So my wife was heartbroken, and that was right around the time that this client with Samara needed training. So what I did is I told my wife, hey, why don't you keep your mind occupied and just train this puppy for me? You know, the puppy's here for a couple of weeks, some basic stuff, basic training, before I do continuing training with the owner. But while she's here with us, why don't you train her? And it was a great thing because it gave my wife something to do. It kept her mind occupied. It gave her something else to think about. And so my wife did the training for Samara when she was little. And then when we got her back from the owner, because the owner could no longer keep her, it just made the most sense to keep Samara's training under the leadership and guidance of my wife. And so that's essentially how Samara was my wife's dog. And so she did all the training until just recently. There was a minor change. And the only change is for competitions, I'm going to be handling Samara for competitions. My wife did her PDC, which is the entry level for the sport that we do. But for the future levels, we decided I'm going to be doing the handling and therefore some of the training as well. But she's still my wife's dog, but I'm spending a little bit of time with her so that we can create this bond that we need for the trial field. Because even though we have a bond, she knows me, she loves me, I'm more of her playmate than anything. Samara, come here. Heel. Good job, Sammy. Go potty, go break. So that's the deal with Samara. Russ, come here. So now this is Russ, and this is my retired PSA dog. He is almost 11 years old. You're free. Russ, come on, go break. Almost 11 years old. And I've had Russ since he was a puppy. Very, very intense, high prey drive, working dog. We've had a long, long journey in PSA. We had so many issues to overcome for that sport that I do, PSA. And finally, you know, we overcame every obstacle, which were several, from environmental, grip issues, all kinds of things. But he proved himself. He did amazing. Over time, he learned the sport. I learned the sport. I became better at the sport too. And he reached the highest level in PSA, which is PSA 3. He was number 46, I believe. It was like number 46, which means the 46th dog in the history of the sport that got PSA 3 to get to the highest level in 20 years. So, yeah, he's enjoying life now. He does still, you know, I do still take him out working. He does still exercise. He does the slat mill. Russ, come here. And, you know, at 11 years old, right, doing PSA for an 11-year-old dog, PSA is a contact sport. Although he will love to just still, right. Although he would still love to, you know, to go flying and biting decoys really hard at, you know, over 20-something miles an hour. Because it is a contact sport, it's not something you want to keep you're free. Not something you want to keep your 11-year-old Malinois doing because it's hard on their body. So he chases the ball. We still play with the wedge. He still does some minimal bite work with me. I keep him in shape. He still eats good food, so he's eating raw. He gets the supplements, gets the slat mill. He gets the weight vest. He gets to bite the weighted wedge and carrying it. So physically, I still want to keep him very active because I don't want his body to deteriorate with age. I want to keep him fit so that he maintains his mobility, his power, and his strength in the oncoming years, because that's one of the biggest problems with senior dogs and people as well, is as they age, their body starts to slightly deteriorate. They lose muscle mass. It's harder to gain muscle. So to combat that, we just keep them fit. We keep lifting weights. We keep them running. Leave it alone. All kinds of things to keep their body in optimal fighting condition. And it reduces the rate of aging. So that's the way I want to keep them, because I want him to be alive for as long as he can be, with a good quality of life.